Hey there, YouTube. Myron Golden here. I'm here at Millionaire HQ. Got my folks out here in the audience. Say something to them. Make some noise, my peeps. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about audience building 101. So how do you build an audience? That was a question that came from somebody in the audience today. How do you build an audience? And then she said, "Don't say YouTube." So I'm gonna say YouTube, but it's not gonna be only YouTube. The first thing you want to do is select the audience you want to build. What does that mean? So you select an audience. You decide who you can help and how you can help them. I know this is going to be hard for y'all to believe, but most entrepreneurs, when they get started, the hardest thing for them to do is decide who they're going to help and how they're going to help them. Because what they say, and by the way, if you say this, if you right now on YouTube are saying this, you are making a mistake. Here's what they say. "Oh, what I have is good for everybody." Anything that's good for everybody is also good for nobody. Right? So what you want to do is you want to make sure you select an audience. How do I know what audience to select? Well, the audience needs to be large enough to be targeted, right? So it needs to be large enough to be targeted. Then they need to have a problem they'd be willing to pay to solve, right? Not just a problem, but a problem they'd be willing to pay to solve. Then they need to be findable on a platform. So what's the platform? It just depends. Here's a mistake most people make. They start their business in here. Well, I just want to teach people how to XYZ. Nobody cares. I just want to tell my story. Nobody cares about your story. Your mom maybe cares about your story, but she don't want to hear about it. She watched it happen. It wasn't that interesting to her then. She was just hoping her baby was going to be okay, right? So you want to make sure that your business idea doesn't start in here. It has to start out here. And what I like to tell people is when you're starting a business, don't think of the marketplace, think from the marketplace. You let the market tell you what business to start. So somebody said to me one time, I was at a restaurant and I was doing some work. They said, "Excuse me, sir." "Yes, how can I help you?" "Are you in sales?" "I am." "What do you sell?" "It depends." And I said, "It depends. What do you want to buy?" Because I only want to sell things that people want to buy. And I only want to sell things that a large number of people want to buy that have a big problem they'd be willing to pay to solve. Does that make sense? Okay, so you want to first select the audience. After you select the audience, then number two is you seek someone who already has that audience. So you want to seek somebody who's already got influence over that audience. And then you want to create a solution they don't have. Or just select somebody, you have a solution they don't have. So what does that mean? I'm going to say this probably for the 11,000th time, right? 11,000. I just made that number up, okay? So for the 11,000th time, thinking is the hardest work most people never do. And I promise you, you will make more money if you spend less time working at what's not working and thinking about what would work. So hopefully y'all track it. So you seek somebody who already has your audience, and then you partner with them. Now, what does that mean? You partner with them. What does partner with them mean? It means you do some kind of joint venture thing with them. One of the reasons we have done, I don't know how much money I've done in my career, but over $25 million for sure. Okay, so which is fairly significant, right? We have not spent $100,000 on advertising since I've been in business, and I've been in business since I was 25, and now I'm at least 26. No, I'm 30. No, what am I? I'm 30 plus 31. Okay, so I'm 61. So I've in 37 years, 36 and a half years, I've not spent $100,000 total on advertising. And I'm not saying that advertising doesn't work. It apparently does work. But if it doesn't work organically, it's not going to work that well when you throw money at it. Figure out whether your offer is good or not. How can you tell if your offer is good? If people say yes to it, right? So you partner with people, and then what you do after you partner with them, you siphon their audience, siphon to you. You siphon their audience to you. How do you do that? So how do you build an audience? We're not going to talk about YouTube. Let's talk about Instagram. Here's what I would do if I didn't have an audience. I would find influencers that had as many followers as I have or more, and I would send them an inbox message, as many inbox messages per day as I could send. And I would say, "Hey, I've got an offer I would like to share with your audience. Can I pay you to do that?" Right? And how do you pay them? Well, you can either pay them a flat fee or you can pay them an affiliate commission. right? So I want you to think about this. So there's a very, very big podcaster. Like he's got a huge podcast, right? And he charges $10,000 to be on his podcast. Okay, so that's another way you can grow your audience, right? Like my audience, my YouTube audience grew when I got on this person's podcast in 7 months. Let me see, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. In 8 months, our YouTube audience grew by 5,000 with no new videos just because I was on this other person's podcast. I got 5,000 YouTube subscribers because I was on somebody else's podcast. Are y'all tracking? Now, he charges $10,000 to be on his podcast. He didn't charge me $10,000 to be on his podcast. But guess what? I've paid him more money than anybody who's paid him $10,000 to be on his podcast. Why? Because I made him an affiliate of the offer that I made when I was on his podcast, and I would pay him 50% of all the sales I made. Right? So I want you to think about this. And I paid this dude tens of thousands of dollars. I think his first commission was either $14,000 or $17,000. His first commission check after the first interview, and we send him money every month. He's one of our top affiliates every single month because we did those podcasts months and months ago. Does that make sense? Okay, so wrap your mind around that. So you want to siphon their audience off to you, and then you want to send that audience. So you want to send that audience to an opt-in funnel. So you want to send them to an opt-in funnel. So what does that mean? You want to send them somewhere where you can collect their name, their email address, and their phone number, or just their name and their email address. You want to send them to an opt-in funnel, a funnel that says, hey, to get my free whatever, blah, 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 click here, right? And so you want to send them to an opt-in funnel, and then the other thing you want to do, like I said, seek someone. So what could you do when you seek this person? Well, you could be on their podcast. One of my favorite things to do is you could be on their podcast, or you could go live on Instagram. This is my favorite. Like, you want a big cash influx? We do, depending on what I'm promoting, we do anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000 every time I go live on Instagram. Now, Myron, but that's different. You have 140-something thousand followers. I do, but I was making money on Instagram when I went live, even before I had all those followers, because what I would do is I'd have other influencers who had followers come on, and when they come on to my live, their followers get notified. And then their followers come on and follow me, and then I make the offer, and I promote their affiliate link, right? So, like, you could do this all day. Like, you could literally do 5 joint Instagram lives a day. You would build your audience so fast it would make your head spin. Like people, I don't have anybody to sell my stuff to. Well, you don't have anybody to sell your stuff to because you haven't done these things. And then after you put them on your list, you seek someone to partner with. And then the last thing you do is you send community service content. What is community service content? Community service content is the kind of content that you're getting right now. It's the kind of content that's worth paying for, but you're giving it to them for free. Are y'all tracking? So community service is my YouTube channel. Community service is my Facebook page. Community service content is the content that I put on my Instagram. It's content that has value, but you don't make them pay for it. Are y'all tracking? Now, how much community service content should I send? You should send 10 pieces of community service content for every one offer. So for every offer you send, you should send 10 you should have 10 pieces of community service content. Wrap your mind around what I just said. And most people, what they do is they have 10 offers for every one piece of community service content. So nobody believes you because you don't have goodwill in the marketplace. But when you have goodwill in the marketplace and you're teaching people content without them having to send you money, then and only then are they going to be happy to pay you for something. I've got people commenting on this YouTube channel right here. Oh, I made $250,000 just from the stuff I learned on your YouTube videos. What do you think people are going to think? It doesn't have to be $250,000. What if they make $2,500? What if they make $25,000? What if they make $10,000 just from some free stuff? You know what they're going to do? They're going to come to you and they're going to say, "Oh, I made so much money from his free stuff. I can't imagine how much money I'm going to make if I paid." And maybe your thing's not making money. Maybe your thing's weight loss. Help people lose weight before they pay you. And most people think, well, if I help them too much with my free stuff, then they're not going to want to pay me because or worse yet, if I help them too much with my free stuff, I won't have anything left. Well, if you won't have anything left, you need to go back to school. And when I say go back to school, I'm not talking about to college. I mean, you need to put your face in the books. You need to get to the seminars. You need to get to start learning the stuff you don't know yet. Jordan Peterson, I'm going to end on this, has a video, it's like 5-7 minutes, something like that, on how to be more articulate on YouTube. And on that video, he said, one of the things he said is, if you want to be more articulate, know 10 times more about your subject than you have time to give. That's like next level stuff right there. So if you do these 3 things, this is audience building 101. You could build an audience of 10 or 20,000 people doing these things in the next 30 days. You have an audience of 10 or 20,000 people. If you have an email list, 10 or 20,000 people, you should make at least $1 per name on your email list every month. So hopefully that's measurable enough for you to figure out that this stuff that I just showed you is worth doing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for turning on the notification bell. I'm always asking people to do that. I might as well thank the people who've already done it. So thanks, my peeps. In the meantime, in between time, stay blessed by the best. Peace out, Cub Scouts.